The file is missing again. Just start.
All right. Hey, you fucks. This is Everyone's Wrong. I'm Dave, aka the Great White North.
And I am Dustin Dark, aka the Sleepy Samoan.
What happened to the all-knowing Samoan?
Well, I fell asleep last week.
Yeah, that is true. The all-knowing Samoan is like fucking. I don't know if you guys had these commercials down in the States back in the day. It was like, call Cleo, and she was like a psychic.
Yes.
Psychic Cleo.
Yes.
Yeah. That's you.
That's
The psychic Samoan.
the psychic Samoan.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like alliteration, but it's not. So I'd still probably go with that nickname. Like,
Yeah.
like a good nickname to me. No offense to the Great White North, you know that's a classic. It's a classic, but a good nickname either needs alliteration, you know, to start with the same letter, you know.
Sure.
Or it needs to rhyme, you know.
Okay.
So
Yes.
that's why I really like the Manic Hispanic.
But,
That's
but
probably.
I think I got mine because I'm awfully white and I'm from Canada, and Canada is called the Great White North, and it was some Americans that gave me the nickname.
It's better
And
than like
some mixed Americans, like mixed race Americans. So
yeah, Americans.
I think I don't know. It's all right. I'll stick with it. It's good.
I like
It sounds awfully racist, but I'm okay with that.
No. If it was the Great White Hope, that would sound
The Great White Hope. Yeah.
yeah. Which, you know, there was two boxers. I forget their name. Some
Yes.
white champion, white guy.
There was also a movie called The Great White Hype.
Hype.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was one of the Wayans brothers. The story is in the movie when he was an amateur, he was beat by this white guy, and he's the only guy that ever beat him. So, they wanted somebody to beat him in boxing, and he's like, I'm not even gonna train. I'll just get fat and I'll knock him out. So he eats all this junk food and like gets, you know, drinking beer, gets a great big fucking retarded belly, and it riled up. I can't believe you haven't seen this. It's like Ethan Hawke and Damon Wayans. Check it out.
I'll check it out, man.
Yeah.
I can't say I watch a lot of movies.
Okay. You don't have time. You're watching too much YouTube.
That's pretty fair, dude. That's a
Yeah.
pretty fair assessment, actually. I do, man. There's something about YouTube that's addictive. I haven't quite put my finger on it, man. Like, you can go down a hole. You can go down a hole of information. I've recently got our buddy Jason hooked on a few things. You've dropped out, haven't you?
I'm here.
You're here. Yours frozen. Oh, there, you're back.
Okay. Well, anyways, I was saying I'm here the whole time. You and my 6-year-old would get along great.
Why's that?
He's like so addicted to YouTube. He wants to be a YouTuber. He's like, Daddy, when can I be a YouTuber? I'm like, next year. And he's like, but when I'm a YouTuber, what are you going to have me do? And I said, no. You want to be a YouTuber? You come up with your own fucking thing.
Yup.
You want to do it, you do it. I'll support you. I'll film you. I'll buy you a microphone. I'll set you up. But you got to come up with your own stick, son.
What are you gonna have me do?
What are you gonna have me do? What do you mean? And he's like, so you have to buy me a lot of toys because you know how they do those opening,
yes.
you know those opening toys things. And I said, son, there's a lot of those opening toy channels already, and they already have a monopoly on that. You got to come up with something different. Anyways, I told him when he's 7 he can.
But when he's holy shit, man, that's young.
Well, the other ones are like 4,
Holy
and he's
crap.
making fucking $15 million a year.
Can you imagine if there was a digital footprint of you going back to 7?
Oh my god.
Oh,
I'd be in jail for life right now.
I wouldn't be in jail. I would just have to bury myself under a fucking bridge, man. I would.
Yeah,
God.
yeah, me too.
Just
The things I would have
embarrassing.
said.
Yeah.
I would, yeah. Holy fuck.
Are you
man.
kidding me? Like, time hop on Facebook is embarrassing. Shit, I said 4 years ago. Just like, oh, fuck, terrible. Brooke is the worst because Brooke's been on my Facebook for years. You know, obviously she's, you know, we've been friends since high school. So she gets time hops, and she'll share them on my page just so I can read the comment thread of me being an ass. You know. So God, I don't know, man.
I remember, I like, there's no way anybody can find this, but I remember when I was in juvie, the news channel came. I was 15, and they wanted to interview some of the young offenders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And me, I'm just acting like the hardest fucking guy ever, and I'm like 15 years old, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! If somebody could get a hold of that video right now, just the twat I would look like. I think back then I was wearing like UNLV Running Rebels shit, just because I liked the Running Rebel aspect of it. Oh man!
If you ever get famous in any measure, it will.
That's
surface.
Coming up.
It will surface. Well, here's okay. So you know, like I love Dick Masterson, right? I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of his videos. I'm on YouTube the other day, and up comes across my suggested feed is videos he made for like a fake news program in high school that someone has found and loaded up to to YouTube.
Wow.
And this guy's not. Don't get me wrong. He made $500,000 through Patreon since he started the show like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So he's doing all right. But it's not like he's a famous guy, and people are digging out this shit on him. So man, these kids today, you know, to carry out that 30-year-old boomer meme, right? Mm-hmm. The kids today have no idea what's coming. The amount of information they put out.
To be honest, with the amount of confrontations that I've had, and debates, and the amount of time that I've been on microphone, I'm surprised somebody hasn't already.
Yeah, man, it's not like you got 20,000 people tuning in every week.
That's true, but if you span it out over the amount of time, I'm just surprised. It's not the it wouldn't be just the. What I mean by that is the amount of confrontations that I've had while I've been doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess, man. I think it's when it's when the oddists out at 4chan or fucking, you know, Reddit get a hold of it, and you got you got teams of fucking losers working around the clock like these guys busted the college professor that's hitting people over the head with locks. They found this guy's picture, and they're like, you know, making him transparent and lining it up to see if the eyes and the ears match with the fucking mask and shit to ID this guy. And the guy gets convicted. He got like fucking nothing. He walked away. He hit like 3-4 people over the head that day.
Really?
Yeah, he just pretty much walked away with I think a small fine. Like probation. Nothing. That's assault with a deadly weapon. Whatever.
Yeah. Like, that guy is lucky he didn't get beat to death in the street that day.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if fucking Fabio was there, fucking alt-right Fabio, whatever his name is, that'd have been the last day that guy ever swung a lock at anybody. Mm. God, man, that video was killer. He come through there and knocked like 3-4 people out. He knocked one guy into a coma, like brain swelling.
Yeah,
it was fucking harsh, dude. It was harsh.
It's the ones you don't see coming.
It is. Well, and here's the thing, man. When this whole Antifa thing was starting, it would just be regular Joes at these protests. And now people that are looking for a fight are showing up, and they're fucking kicking their ass. It's funny.
Yeah, but we told you. We told you. We said that was going to happen.
Now, we predicted the thing would escalate to weapons.
Yeah.
And they they haven't escalated past, you know, makeshift. So
but that doesn't mean that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't. It's just my prediction is that none of these fools know how to fight in Antifa. I've watched them. Yeah. I've watched them, and that somebody trained is going to get out in the street and they're going to attack them, and they're going to be really sorry.
You know, if you're a real capable person, it's hard for me to believe that you would be into like a communist type of ideals.
Yeah,
You would be more for
sure,
competition if you're a more capable person.
sure.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. Spetsnaz was pretty badass back in the day.
Who?
The Russian Spets. It's their special
Well,
forces.
yeah, man. That's a workers' revolution. Now it's like these bourgeois loser kids. It's not the same thing at all.
That's true.
Like Russia didn't have a competition where the competent could rise up like we do. It's not a fair comparison.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a quick story.
Okay.
So I'm doing some work on the Richie Rich's house, like 2 Porsches, Land Rover in the driveway, the whole bit, right?
Yeah.
So I've got the tailgate of my truck down, and I'm fucking doing some shit, getting some tools ready, and I go around to the front of my truck, and all of a sudden my truck goes patonk, like not hard or anything, but it goes patonk. I'm like, what the fuck? I come around, and the tailgate was down because I was fucking around with some tools. It's dented in, and the lady of the house is like stopped, and she's in her Porsche like Cayenne, which is kind of like an SUV thing, and she's like waves at me, and I'm like, are you just gonna pretend that you didn't just back into my truck, or am I actually gonna have to say? And I was like, hey, you just hit my truck. And she's like, no, I didn't. And I look, and the fucking tailgate's kind of bent in a bit, and I'm like, but the tailgate's bent in, and it wasn't like 5 minutes ago. And she's like, oh, it wasn't me. So I go around and I look at the back, and there's paint transfer. I'm like, ma'am, there's I haven't got the check from these people yet either, right? So I didn't want to be like all crazy. I said, there's paint transfer from my truck to and my truck is black and her vehicle is white.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's paint transfer. And she's like, well, should I call my husband? I said, no, we'll work something out. So anyways, I get the check, and then I go to the husband, and I'm like, yo, man, like your wife, she backed into my truck. And he's like, well, I looked at her car and there was nothing wrong with it. And I'm like, sir, it's dented, and paint from my truck is on it. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I said, go look at the right hand side of the back of the truck. This is over the of her vehicle, and it's over the phone. He's like goes out, has a look, comes back, says, no, I don't see anything. So I drove out there today. I caught him before he went to work, and I brought him over to the vehicle, and I'm like, see, there's the fucking damage to your Porsche Cayenne. Here's the damage to my truck, and I put my tailgate down beside it, and I'm like, you see how they match? they match. You see how the paint matches?
That's funny.
Your wife backed into my truck, and my tailgate doesn't close properly now. I'm not trying to be all crazy. We don't have to call insurance companies, but somebody's going to have to pay for my fucking tailgate. And he's like, yeah, okay. And he wrote me a check for it. So, anyways.
Such a Canadian story.
Why, Americans, you would have shot each other?
Yeah. No. I'll tell you what. I was riding with a girlfriend of mine at the time in her car. She was driving, actually. And this Mexican sideswiped us, and then tries to run away.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to chase him down with our vehicle. It just so happened that we're on a place where there's like a red light every 30 feet. And, there's like, 8, 9 red lights. So we eventually have to pull the guy over. He just gives up and pulls over. We call the cops. And cop comes out there. The guy's like gets out of his vehicle with a cup and throws a cup away. So like, okay, so you're drinking in your car.
Yeah, he's hammered.
He's hammered. So the cop shows up. The guy doesn't have a license because he's not a legal resident. Shocker.
Fucking illegals.
Yeah, you see how this is a more American story.
Yes.
This is where it gets real American. So the cop gets my girlfriend out of the car, talks to her for a while. And then she comes back and gets in the car. She's fucking angry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so what are they going to do? And he goes, well, the cop said the guy doesn't have any information, so there's not really a lot they can do. They're just going to let him go. So the guy's leaving drunk with no license.
What do you mean he doesn't have information so he can just go?
Yeah, yeah. That's the first half. Second half, the whole reason he got me out of the car was he wanted to hit on me without you around. Told me that like things weren't going so great with his wife.
Oh my god.
So like we had to fill out an accident report and turn it in. And my girlfriend wrote like around the space around the outside edge of a page where it won't print. She wrote like the guy got me out of the car and fucking said this, that, and the other, and made some moves on me. Turned in the paperwork. Like whatever.
Jesus, that reminds me of something that's going on here. There is a cop here that is now in jail, waiting. He's just been charged with 42 counts of sexual assault, false arrest, kidnapping, confinement, pointing his weapon at women to get them to do fucking acts on them, like all kinds of fucking shit. Like one cop, man, like fucking, he's been at it a while. My guess is that they're probably prostitutes that he's been doing this to, or like high risk women. You know what I mean? Because he's obviously not doing it to fucking, Susie Homemaker out in the burbs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's fucked, man.
Yeah, yeah. So he's probably in PC. You know what PC is?
No.
Protective custody.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can't put a cop in general population.
Right, because they're fucking kill him like a fucking,
a
child molester. Yeah.
Probably worse than the child molester.
Yeah. He spends his courtyard time in a fucking cage like a dog, like walking in little 5x5 circles.
So it's like 23 and a half hours in the cell, and then like a half an hour in a little fucking walkthrough.
Well, he has it coming.
Yeah, fuck yeah, he does.
Has
fuck
it coming.
Him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, you want to talk about Kavanaugh?
Yeah, man. What else? What else are you going to talk about if you're doing a show like ours? If it's not going to be the Kavanaugh stuff.
I'm telling you, it's even taking up a lot of radio time here.
Well, sure it is. Well, first of all, everyone has drunk derangement syndrome right now. So anything that's tangentially concerned with Trump, like I have like Aussies on my Facebook that love or hate Trump. It's so funny.
Okay.
Like every person on the planet has to have an opinion on our president. Like, you know what opinion I have on Australian leadership? None.
I don't even know who the Australian leadership is.
Me either.
I couldn't. I
don't
even
know.
I don't know the party. I don't know the party that's in charge.
No, man, they're like you guys. They got a fucking whole continent. There's 5 of them.
We follow politics and we don't even know.
I know, like their shit's so stable. I guess like maybe it's just we don't worry about them. I don't know what it is.
They're very, very, very far away.
They know our politics. They know the shit out of ours.
Yeah, but I like name the Mexican president that's coming in.
I can't name him. Yes, but I know things about him.
Name what's his name? Yeah.
I just want to make some kind of racist joke here.
Yeah. I have no idea. I have no idea. But if you had said Rodriguez, I would have believed you.
Right. Okay. There's the racist joke. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I wanted to just make some random Hispanic sounding.
I know about him. I know like that he's apparently left-wing populist and he's socialist, right?
Right. I know that he told people to, come to America.
Come to America.
Fucking need.
But if you get past Mexico, and they're like next to us, like more next to you than they are to us. But if you get past Mexico,
I wouldn't know any of that if we weren't having problems with them.
Jesus Christ, I don't even
I'll tell you what, Dave. What's the Venezuelan guy's name? Since you quizzed me, you asshole.
I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah. And I've heard it a billion times too. That's a bitch, right?
Uh-huh.
I've heard it a billion times. Like I know what's going on. I'm not very good with names, particularly foreign names, man. It's like one reason I could never get into
But is a guy in Venezuela, is his name really foreign to you?
Is it foreign to me? I'll take ha 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 ha. You racist son of a bitch! I didn't catch that at first. How about this, man? I'm getting some Chinese food the other day, and the guy behind the
And they
counter.
said, "Don't eat me, please don't eat me."
So the guy behind the counter goes, "You don't know any hard-working Mexican people looking for a job, do you?" And I don't even know how to answer that. Like,
he wanted you to say, "Yeah, me."
I need more money than what he's paying to fucking fry some chicken behind a counter.
Yes, yes. Cooking sucks.
Yeah. No, I laugh nervously. You know, like how do you take that? You know, so I kind of chuckle and I was like, "That's funny, man." I'm not Mexican, but that's real funny.
Is that what you said to him?
Yes. Like, what else do you say?
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
Man, I went.
Say, can I see your fucking? What you should have said was, "I work for ICE."
Oh, I know. Yes. Oh, that'd been great.
Can you take me to the back, please? I wanna see your employees. Can I have your ID? Where's your business license, sir? Is your restaurant up to spec? Do I need to call the city down here to have a look at your kitchen? You can give me some, and I'll make this all go away.
You are a fucking criminal, man. Look, that came to you too easy, Dave. That was quick.
Mm-hmm.
That was quick.
Oh wow.
Some Joey Diaz shit.
Yeah, I know. Right. I know like fucking Germany's leader. I can name Germany's leader.
You know what? If maybe if I hadn't put too much vodka in this drink, I could have named her 5 minutes ago.
Okay, well, how about England?
England, Theresa May. Yeah.
Theresa May. There you
Theresa
go.
May.
Yeah, that's because we hate England right now.
Oh yeah, conservative government. And Merkel in Germany, Angela Merkel.
There you go. You picked.
She's also conservative.
Yeah.
They must think we're Nazis over here.
Like if that's conservative, then their conservative leader is Canada's Justin Trudeau.
Yes.
Like and this is like the most left. Like he's even more left than his old man. Like this is the leftist prime minister we've ever had.
I think their problem is that they don't actually have like conservative here doesn't mean the same thing that conservative means there by any stretch. They don't.
It's same between Canada and the United States. Like to be honest with you, there's a difference between.
You know what? I believe you because you didn't even not to interrupt, but I believe you because you didn't even understand exactly what people mean by small government. Like and that's what right wing is in the United States. That's what it was.
Sure,
we've lost that, man. But that's what it's supposed to be. Is actually less government interference in your life, like more libertarian than anything.
Okay.
But the neocons fucked us on that.
Yeah. Well, when you have as much government as I have, it's pretty hard to know what a small government is, right?
You know what? Fair enough, man.
Like even when we have a conservative government, there's still a lot of bureaucracy here.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, but we can't get anything done, Dustin. We can't even build a pipeline in our own country to port.
You can pay for it though.
Yeah, we could pay for it 20,000 times over. Like we just can't do it.
No, what I mean is you did pay for it, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we bought one.
Yeah.
And then we just didn't do it.
And then you didn't build it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like buying a steak dinner and throwing it away, feeding it to your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Not even. Okay. Anyways, yeah, Kavanaugh.
do you want to?
Kavanaugh.
Who do you want to look at first here? Kavanaugh or Dr. Ford?
Let's do let's do Dr. Ford,
All right,
the alleged victim.
Yeah, and I'll say this, man. Like she has compelling story here. So let's start at the very beginning.
Chairman
What are you calling her, a liar?
Ranking Member Feinstein, members of the
I'm just fucking with you,
My name
man.
is Christine
Trying to get you in
Blasey
shit.
Ford. I am a professor of psychology at Palo Alto University and a
Can't
research
hear her.
psychologist at the Stanford University School of Medicine.
It's not that compelling and
I won't
silent.
detail my educational background since it has already been summarized. I have
You said you can't hear it?
No, I can't. She might as well be talking about going to the mall.
Okay. Boop, boop, boop. I just realized I had everything turned real down low. I hope everyone had been able to hear you so far.
That sucks, if not.
Screen share, yeah. Screen share and system audio.
If you couldn't hear what was going on, I said a bunch of really super funny shit.
And smart. It was really intelligent and clever.
Intelligent,
Yeah.
clever,
smart. Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Just
The best. The best.
2002,
You hear that?
and we have 2 children.
Yes.
I am here today not because I want to be. I am terrified. I am here because I believe it is my civic duty to tell you what happened to me while Brett Kavanaugh and I were in high school. I have described the events publicly before. I summarized them in my letter to Ranking Member Feinstein and again in a letter to Chairman Grassley. I understand and appreciate the importance of your hearing from me directly about what happened to me and the impact that it has had on my life and on my family. I grew up in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. I attended the Holton Arms School in Bethesda, Maryland from 1978 to 1984. Holton Arms is an all-girls school that opened in 1901. During my time at the school, girls at Holton Arms frequently met and became friendly with boys from all boys schools in the area, including the Landon School, Georgetown Prep, Gonzaga High School,
Became
as
friendly.
well as our country clubs and other places where
Sanitized
kids
term.
and families socialized. This is how I met Brett Kavanaugh, the boy who sexually assaulted me. During my freshman and sophomore school years, when I was 14 and 15 years old, my group of friends intersected with Brett and his friends for a short period of time. I had been friendly with a classmate of Brett's for a short time during my freshman and sophomore year. And it was through that connection that I attended a number of parties that Brett also attended. We did not know each other well, but I knew him and he knew me. In the summer of 1982, like most summers, I spent most every day at the Columbia Country Club in Chevy Chase, Maryland, swimming and practicing diving.
Did she just say Chevy Chase?
She did. She did. You know, she's also naming like specific years and things now. Initially, she couldn't give a specific year that it was. And she couldn't give a specific street or house or anything like that. So her testimony's gotten a lot better by this time. And here's the thing, man. I'm not trying to necessarily discredit the lady. You know, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. You know, and I'm very interested to see what the investigation has been ordered. I'm very interested to see what it comes out as. But she's been so shaky on things before now that it makes me question her testimony. Although,
but she's not the only one, though, right? There's 2 others.
And now two more have come out. Okay, so but I guess now is a good time to talk about. Okay, there's a few possibilities here. One is that he's guilty. 2 is that someone assaulted her, but it wasn't him. She doesn't remember how she got to the party. She doesn't remember how she got home and things like that. So,
well, it was 1978.
It was 1982. is actually when she says it was now 1982. And the people that she says were there, the witnesses, are on his side as well. Okay, so the third option here. Do you remember when Obama was still president and Scalia died and we had to appoint a new Supreme
Yes.
court, and we didn't, right? He put forward a gentleman named Garland, and the Republican-controlled House.
And they fought it like crazy and acted like a bunch of crybabies. Yeah, I remember that.
They delayed it until Trump got in office, and then Trump got an
Yes.
appointee. Okay,
Yeah.
so it is within the realm of possibilities, and my buddy Jason, friend of the show, he's called this conspiracy theory, but it is within the realm of possibilities that with the midterms next month or in 2 months, that this is just a way to delay. Polls are showing that Democrats are probably going to take over the House, and then they'll have a much larger say.
Okay, but do you think this woman would put herself through this to...
Well, here's the thing. This lady did not intend for her name to be put out there at all. She made an anonymous claim, and her name was leaked. And she talks about that in a moment.
Okay, okay, let's watch...
So let's keep watching that. Do I think... It is, like I said, am I saying that's what happened? No. Am I saying... Okay, here's the thing, Dave. A lot of people see Trump and Trump derangement syndrome is the thing. Trump derangement syndrome is the thing. A lot of people think that the country is literally in a life and death struggle with Nazis. In which case, what would you not do to stop that, Dave?
Yeah.
And politics are politics, and they are by nature dishonest.
Yes.
Right. It is a competition, and fair game is fair game. You stalled so that you could get your pick. We want to stall so we can get our pick. I don't think that's that crazy of a thing. And if the person never intended to be in the public spotlight, it's even more likely to me, not less likely.
But she was a politician or no?
No. She's not a politician. Her social media has been scrubbed clean, so we don't know what she's been saying for the last few years. But we know that she has several donations to Bernie Sanders, donations to abortion clinics and things like that. So she's clearly very left wing.
Okay.
Very, very left wing. So to say it's beyond is I think a bit much to me, man. I don't know. That's why it's so interesting. Like there's so little information and so much is riding on it. It makes it a compelling case, Day
of diving at the club, I attended a small gathering at a house in the Bethesda area. There were 4 boys I remember specifically being at the house: Brett Kavanaugh, Mark Judge, a boy named PJ, and one other boy whose name I cannot recall. I also remember my friend Leland attending. I do not remember all of the details of how that gathering came together, but like many that summer, it was almost surely a spur-of-the-moment gathering. I truly wish I could be more helpful with more detailed answers to all of the questions that have and will be asked about how I got to the party and where it took place and so forth. I don't have all the answers, and I don't remember as much as I would like to. But the details about that night that bring me here today are the ones I will never forget. They have been seared into my memory and have haunted me episodically as an adult. When I got to the small gathering, people were drinking beer in a small living room, family room type area on the first floor of the house. I drank 1 beer. Brett and Mark were visibly drunk. Early in the evening, I went up a very narrow set of stairs leading from the living room to a second floor to use the restroom. When I got to the top of the stairs, I was pushed from behind into a bedroom across from the bathroom. I couldn't see who pushed me. Brett and Mark came into the bedroom and locked the door behind them. There was music playing in the bedroom. It was turned up louder by either Brett or Mark once we were in the room. I was pushed onto the bed, and Brett got on top of me. He began running his hands over my body and grinding into me. I yelled, hoping that someone downstairs might hear me, and I tried to get away from him, but his weight was heavy. Brett groped me and tried to take off my clothes. He had a hard time because he was very inebriated and because I was wearing a one-piece bathing suit underneath my clothing. I believed he was going to rape me. I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from yelling. This is what terrified me the most and has had the most lasting impact on my life. It was hard for me to breathe, and I thought that Brett was accidentally going to kill me. Both Brett and Mark were drunkenly laughing during the attack. They seemed to be having a very good time. Mark seemed ambivalent, at times urging Brett on, and at times telling him to stop. A couple of times I made eye contact with Mark and thought he might try to help me, but he did not. During this assault, Mark came over and jumped on the bed twice while Brett was on top of me. And the last time that he did this, we toppled over and Brett was no longer on top of me. I was able to get up and run out of the room. Directly across from the bedroom was a small bathroom. I ran inside the bathroom and locked the door. I waited until I heard Brett and Mark leave the bedroom, laughing, and loudly walk down the narrow stairway, pinballing off the walls on the way down. I waited, and when I did not hear them come back up the stairs, I left the bathroom, went down the same stairwell, through the living room, and left the house. I remember being on the street and feeling an enormous sense of relief that I had escaped that house and that Brett and Mark were not coming outside after me. Brett's assault on me drastically altered my life. For a very long time, I was too afraid and ashamed to tell anyone these details.
You want more? I mean, that's
pretty rough. It's pretty rough. I'm not saying it didn't happen. Like, chances are 3 women come forward, it may have, but that's well rehearsed. Like saying like they're pinballing off the walls, like all those statements are thought out.
Yeah, well, that's a pre-written statement. And I noticed also that I don't think a single time did she use a preposition. Like it was name, and that's the key point. You know what I mean? Like when you use preposition at distances from the subject.
Yeah.
So like whoever wrote that was very, you know, and I'm not saying she didn't, and I'm not saying that what she says happened isn't what happened. You know, if I'm going to be on national TV, I'm gonna come with a prepared
speech,
opening at least, as well.
For sure.
You know, what's unfortunate about this, of course, is, you know, did it happen? Did it not happen? It's really unknowable at this point. We're talking 3-4 years before I was born. Did a couple guys in high school get it, you know, rough with a girl at a party? Who fucking knows, man? Who knows? Like,
but if he did, then he can't be a Supreme Court judge.
If he did, then he can't be a Supreme Court judge. That's true. How do we know though? So like, you know, I don't mind this is going on. And here's the thing, they're launching an investigation, and I'm happy they're launching.
But didn't she? I understand that like a polygraph is not admissible in court, but she passed a polygraph. Did he take a polygraph?
I don't believe he's taken a polygraph yet. And if I was innocent,
and somebody else, you wouldn't, eh?
No, I wouldn't. Because Polygraphs aren't admissible in court.
Yeah, yeah.
They're really unreliable.
Yeah.
It's really subjective to even the person that's running the machine as to whether or not you've passed
Yeah,
or failed.
you can beat it with a thumbtack too.
You can beat it by just staying calm.
Yeah, but you know how you beat it with a thumbtack?
When they ask you the regular questions, you poke yourself. It
You
would be
poke
my
yourself.
assumption.
Yes.
Yeah, would be my assumption. Yeah. So, and here's the thing: you get inconclusives and you get false readings and this, that, and the other. So if you're innocent and there's no evidence against you, would you really take the test and risk having a false negative when there's
That's
no
true.
evidence against you?
Okay, but it's not that there's no evidence. You have statements from one party against another party, right?
Okay.
But the fact of the matter is that there's now 3 statements against one person. So the case is building that maybe he doesn't have.
Yes, there may be a case building, and I would want to see how reliable those testimonies are as well, and whether or not there's anything more there. Because once again, there's a lot on the line here.
Yeah, sure.
So if this was just some random celebrity, I would probably be on the he's probably guilty side. But when it's a politician and people feel like they're in a life and death struggle,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you can't say he's probably guilty and still want a trial or whatever, right? Like you could say he's probably guilty, but because of the stakes, we need to have a look at it.
I don't know that he's probably guilty, man. I'm gonna
like I'm gonna take the word of 3 people over the word of 1 person.
I
have no reason to believe any of them. I have no reason to believe Kavanaugh.
Yeah, and
I have no reason to believe any of them. But if 3 people come to you and say blah 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 blah, and 1 person comes to you and says ya da 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 da.
Oh, okay. That's like an appeal to numbers is a fallacy.
But it's not when like it kind of is, but it's not at the same time. So this isn't something where I'm like 50 million people believe in Jesus, so why don't you? You know what I mean? That isn't the same as what I'm saying.
Okay. So here's the thing. It's not just Brett though. So it's not 30 people saying this and he's saying no. The people that this lady Ford has said are witnesses have come out on his side.
I know that. Her friend says that she has no recollection of any party like that. I understand that.
Right. So it's not as simple as he said and she said, and then 3 show up. It's that the first one, with her, it's hard. So much of her story hasn't worked out for her. It's hard for me to come down. And then once again, if this was just a random person, I would be with you. But
there is less evidence for it being some kind of conspiracy than it is for
I'm not saying it's some kind of conspiracy, man, necessarily. Okay. I'm not saying it's some kind of conspiracy necessarily, but that is on the table for me.
Well, everything should be on the table.
It's hard for me to use the word conspiracy when it's political parties doing politics. Like that's not it's not a secret genocide. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. It's people. It's a group of people working together to break the law. So it is technically a conspiracy, right? But it's not the same as believing that 9/11 was an inside job. Okay. Okay, so maybe he did it. That's the best I can give you. Maybe he did, man. Maybe. Okay.
I don't know for sure, but I'm more inclined to think that he did.
You're more inclined to think that he did.
Yeah.
I'm still coming right in the middle, man. I guess I'm being a fucking centrist pussy over this.
Yeah, I'm more inclined to think that he did, but I have no evidence of such, and I would never accuse him of actually doing it. But I tend to think like when numbers start building, it's like the Bill Cosby thing. When the first woman came out, and everybody was like bullshit,
Let's
and
see
then
what these ladies have to say
okay.
and what happens.
Before we get
Would
into
be my thing.
Kavanaugh, can we take a quick
Sure, sure. You
break?
want
Yeah,
to take a break? All right.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'll be right back.
People are so evil. Why can't America wake up and beat them? Donald Trump's not perfect, but he doesn't want to hurt you and your family. Hillary and Obama want to make you poor and pathetic. We have all their white papers. They hate you. They hate prosperity. They hate God. They hate children. And goddamn them, they all. We're going to find the lever to beat these people, and they're going to be beaten. Look at her shark face. Have to look at her with that demon face. That's a frickin' demon. We're going to have President Linda Blair, people, and I'm not going to go along with it.
Welcome back, Dave. Are you muted? No. There.
I am indeed back.
You are back. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Like I said, maybe you did it. Maybe you did. I don't.
Okay, but when I say I'm more inclined to believe that he did, it doesn't really matter. What matters is evidence, right?
Fair
what
enough.
I believe doesn't matter.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, man. let's get into his thing. And he makes like a 45-minute opening speech. We're not gonna.
I'm sure. I heard he got really angry and emotional, and
yeah, we're gonna catch some of that. We're gonna watch maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes of it. Yeah, he gets a little upset.
Okay.
He does not know me. I was not at the party described by Dr. Ford. This confirmation process has become a national disgrace. The Constitution gives the Senate an important role in
You
the
see,
confirmation process. But you have
is that Alyssa Milano behind him?
With search and destroy.
Off his right shoulder?
No.
There's been a frenzy on the left to come up with something, anything, to block my confirmation. Shortly after I was nominated, the Democratic Senate leader said he would, quote, oppose me with everything he's got. A Democratic senator on this committee publicly referred to me as evil. Evil. Think about that word. And said that those who supported me were, quote, complicit in evil. Another Democratic senator on this committee said, quote, Judge Kavanaugh is your worst nightmare. A former head of the Democratic National Committee said, quote, Judge Kavanaugh will threaten the lives of millions of Americans for decades to come. I understand the passions of the moment, but I would say to those senators, your words have meaning. Millions of Americans listened carefully to you. Given comments like those, is it any surprise that people have been willing to do anything, to make any physical threat against my family, to send any violent email to my wife, to make any kind of allegation against me and against my friends, to blow me up and take me down? You sowed the wind. For decades to come, I fear that the whole country will reap the whirlwind.
Okay, let's not fucking be over dramatic here.
Well, he's making the point that I was making though. Like they have made the stakes so high that it legitimizes just about any sort of action. And
I know, but he's like putting himself like what he's doing there is like the country's gonna blow up because it's just he's being dramatic, Dustin.
I think he's legitimately upset.
No, he's legitimately upset, but what he's saying here is a little dramatic.
Agreed.
The behavior of several of the Democratic members of this committee at my hearing a few weeks ago was an embarrassment. But at least it was just a good old-fashioned attempt at borking. Those efforts didn't work. When I did at least okay enough at the hearings that it looked like I might actually get confirmed, a new tactic was needed. Some of you were lying in wait and had it ready. This first allegation was held in secret for weeks by a Democratic member of this committee and by staff. It would be needed only if you couldn't take me out on the merits. When it was needed, this allegation was unleashed and publicly deployed over Dr. Ford's wishes. And then, as no doubt was expected, if not planned, came a long series of false last-minute smears designed to scare me and drive me out of the process before any hearing occurred. Crazy stuff. Gangs, illegitimate children, fights on boats in Rhode Island. All nonsense, reported breathlessly and often uncritically by the media. This has destroyed my family and my good name. A good name built up through decades of very hard work and public service at the highest levels of the American government. This whole two-week effort has been a calculated and orchestrated political hit, fueled with apparent pent-up anger about President Trump and the 2016 election, fear that has been unfairly stoked about my judicial record, revenge on behalf of the Clintons, and millions of dollars in money from outside.
He's just hitting every fucking right-wing conspiracy point here, Dustin.
He is.
The consequences will extend long past my nomination. The consequences will be with us for
Press pause for a second.
this grotesque.
So here's my issue with the people that are saying that he didn't do it and fucking he needs to be. One, it was Justin Trudeau that had allegations, and it was just allegations against him. Everybody on the right believed it. There was no question he groped that girl, right? Now, everybody on the left believes this. There's no question he did it. So they're just like it needs to like the FBI needs to do their investigation.
I'm 1,000% behind the FBI investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. My point is that like not enough has come out yet to fall down on either side.
Mm-hmm.
That's are they like these are right wing conspiracy esque? Like I said,
Well, they were talking. They were straight up right wing conspiracy talking points all throughout that.
some of it was, man, but like
The only thing he didn't bring up there was George Soros.
No, he didn't bring up George Soros, man.
Yeah, but that's the only one that he didn't.
I don't find it to be some outlandish conspiracy that they're trying to delay this until after the midterms here.
Yeah, I don't know if they would get somebody to come in and lie though for that.
Okay, fair enough.
Like maybe hang on before you start. Like maybe these women came forward on their own volition, but I don't think that they would go out and be like, "Hey, you come, make up this story." You know what I mean? Because if they got caught doing that, it would fucking blow up in their faces so hard.
No, you're right. Except for the woman puts forward the story and then it's leaked. First of all, why was it leaked if not to force this lady to come out and tell her story?
No, but what I mean is the Democratic Party didn't go out and tell these women to make up these stories, is what I'm saying.
No, but the Democratic Party made this lady come out and do this hearing. They leaked her name. She intended to stay anonymous, right?
Okay.
So it's not that ballsy to make an anonymous claim.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, and then once you make the claim, you're in for a penny, right?
Okay.
Hold on. Once your name is leaked, now you're in for a pound.
Yeah.
Right. So like now you're already in the limelight. So the worst that can happen here is that people find out that your allegations are shit. Well, if you don't come forward now and back them up, then it comes out that your allegations are shit. So you're kind of like if it wasn't a wholesome allegation, you're kind of wrapped up in it once your name is leaked.
Yes,
but like, how do you walk away at that point?
But the way that he's trying to make it sound like is that the whole thing is made up.
He says that. He also says that maybe she was assaulted and just not by him. Like he's.
That's
platitude.
That's platitude.
Well, hold on, man. His speech is written just like her speech is, right?
Yeah.
So just like she's not using pronouns and she's very specifically pointing everything at him, and pointing, painting as detailed as a picture now as she can, to make it all seem, that's a prosecution doing their point. If you're doing a defense and lawyers are already involved in this, let's not pretend for a second that they're not. Lawyers wrote both of their statements. If you're his defensive lawyer, you're going to throw out every possible defense you can. So you're not just going to say things that necessarily make sense. You're going to come out and say everything you can to discredit the other person. So that's what he's doing here. Just like she's coming out and doing everything she can to discredit him, he's doing everything he can to discredit her. So, like, does he believe that this is necessarily like what's going on? This is once again a prepared speech that's built to put doubt in people's minds.
Okay, but my point is that he is making it sound like the Democrats went out and got somebody to lie.
Yeah, it would be prudent for him to put that within the realm of possibilities if he's trying to mount a defense.
But he needs to back that up. The same way she needs to back up her statements, he needs to back up that as well.
I suppose.
What do you mean you suppose?
No, like that's no. I don't think that's the same. When you're defending yourself, you mount any defense that you can. You don't have to come.
Yeah, but
you have to.
he's now accusing people of making up stories, right?
What he's doing is going through all the possible things that could be happening. He's not saying this is what happened. This is exactly what happened.
No, that's not what he's doing. He's not saying this is what could have happened. He's saying it's a political hit.
Well, like I said,
by the Democrats.
Coming up in a minute, he says maybe she was raped and just not by me. So, like I said, he's
okay, but
he's
that
coming,
is separate.
This is not the same as coming out and saying this is exactly what's going on.
No, he just said this is a political hit. Like 3 seconds ago, he said this is a political hit. That is separate from him saying maybe she was raped or attempted rape, but by somebody else. But the Democrats still dragged her out here to say that it was me.
How can he believe both of those things?
I don't know. He just said it. He said this is a political hit.
Okay, so, but he's about to say, that maybe it was someone else as well. Like, you can't believe both things. Like, once again, he's just mounting as many defenses as he can in the open. That's all he's doing. Like,
when you're mounting a defense, you still need to prove your defense. You still need to have evidence to back up your defense.
No, a defense's job is to muddy the water as much as they can and to bring out as many scenarios. And
this is an actual court. This is an actual.
But this is you don't think that these statements are going to be brought up in court? This isn't court
if it goes to court. If it goes
right. So they're okay. They are testimony. They are giving testimony right now. I believe under oath. So it's not a trial yet.
To a House committee, not to a judge, right?
Okay. I think we're splitting hairs here. This is if this goes to court and you're his lawyer and you're preparing for court. You're preparing for worst case scenario. So that is what this statement is opening up for a trial against him. And their job is to put out as much doubt as they can. And frankly, before since this is public, they also get a chance to dirty the nationwide jury pool right here. They put out just like their job. His job here is to sow doubt. Just because he says something is within the realm of possibilities or is happening doesn't mean that they have to come through and prove it. No, they're all they have to do is to create doubt. They do not. Have to prove it.
Any rational person is just good. It would be like he could just it's as worthless as going in there and saying aliens raped her.
I haven't seen a single person. You say that, but I haven't seen a single person say that aliens raped her. But I've seen a lot of people say that it's to stall. A lot. So
it's what?
To stall the hearing.
To stall. Okay.
Just to stall the hearing.
But how many bipartisan people have you heard say that? How many partisan right-wing people have you heard say that, and how many partisan left-wing people have you said that?
I know I've said over and over that that I maybe haven't said it on the show yet, but I've said it online a lot, that this is an ink blot test. This is a Rorschach test. Like whether or not people come down firmly on one side or the other says more about their ideological stance than it does about the case itself. Now, with more accusers coming out, like I said, I want to hear what they have to say. That does lead more credence to the accusations than what was it 2 days ago when there weren't any accusers and we were setting all this up. So
okay.
So
go ahead.
What's the other guys?
Play him some more.
Yeah.
Destroy my family will not drive me out. The vile threats of violence against my family will not drive me out. You may defeat me in the final vote, but you'll never get me to quit. Never. I'm here today to tell the truth. I've never sexually assaulted anyone. Not in high school, not in college, not ever. Sexual assault is horrific. One of my closest friends to this day is a woman who was sexually abused and who in the 1990s, when we were in our 30s, confided in me about the abuse and sought my advice. I was one of the only people she consulted. Allegations of sexual assault must always be taken seriously, always. Those who make allegations always deserve to be heard. At the same time, the person who is the subject of the allegations also deserves to be heard. Due process is a foundation of the American rule of law. Due process means listening to both sides.
He wishes there was beer in there.
3 weeks ago, I'm the only child of Martha and Ed Kavanaugh. They are here today.
Me too.
When I was 10, my mom went to law school, and as a lawyer, she worked hard and overcame barriers, including the workplace sexual harassment that so many women faced at the time and still face today. She became a trailblazer, one of Maryland's earliest
Oh, this is worthless.
prosecutors and trial judges. She and my dad taught me the importance of equality and respect for all people, and she inspired me to be a lawyer and a judge. Last time I was here, I told you that when my mom was a prosecutor and I was in high school, she used to practice her closing arguments at the dining room table on my dad and me. As I told you, her trademark line was, use your common sense. What rings true? What rings false? Her trademark line is a good reminder as we sit here today, some 36 years after the alleged event occurred, when there is no corroboration, and indeed it is refuted by the people allegedly there. After I've been in the public arena for 26 years without even a hint, a whiff of an allegation like this. And when my nomination to the Supreme Court was just about to be voted on at a time when I'm called evil by a Democratic member of this committee, while Democratic opponents of my nomination say people will die if I am confirmed. This onslaught of last-minute allegations does not ring true. I'm not questioning that Dr. Ford may have been sexually assaulted by some person in some place at some time. But I have never done this to her or to anyone. That's not who I am. It is not who I was. I am innocent of this charge. I intend no ill will to Dr. Ford and her family. The other night, Ashley and my daughter Liza said their prayers. And little Liza, all 10 years old, said to Ashley, we should pray for the woman. It's a lot of wisdom from a 10-year-old.
See this lady back here roll her eyes?
We mean no ill will. First, let's start with my career. For the last 26 years, since 1992, I've served in many high-profile
Lip service.
So, so you're that made it worse for you?
Yeah, that made it a lot worse for me. The crying, the conspiracy, this is a political hit. Like all that shit made it worse for me.
You know, I feel like if I was innocent and this was happening to me, I would probably be in a similar state.
I don't think
like if you knew you're innocent, how much more likely is that conspiracy theory to you? If you know you're innocent. I can't answer that. I don't know. But I do know that if I was the one being accused, I wouldn't be up there talking about my accolades as a I would sue them is what I would do. I would sue them. That's what I would do. I would sue them. I wouldn't be up there talking about my accolades, crying about my fucking daughters, saying that they're going to pray for people and saying that it's a political hit. I would be directing it directly at the people that are telling, if it is lies. Dr. What's her name again? Ford.
Dr. Ford. I would be directing it at Dr. Ford, not at a political party.
Well, here's the thing, man. If you come out and attack her, though, that makes you look fucking horrible.
Yeah, I would sue her though.
That's,
That's the point. I don't care if it makes me look horrible.
well, like you're literally he's being judged at the court of public opinion.
Yeah, but you and I, like, we've talked about this a lot of times, that that the court is what matters, right?
That yes,
Yeah.
it's yes. The court is what. Well, I would say what matters here is if they pull off their tactic, like if the court comes out that he's innocent, but they stall enough that he doesn't get the appointment, that's pretty fucked. Just like it was fucked that Garland was, but then again, Garland wasn't illegally halted, you know. So if it's investigated, here saying he'll never have a clean name. It doesn't matter. But if it's stalled and doesn't get the appointment and he's investigated, it comes out that he's innocent. He still lost a lot.
Yeah. The other thought that I had is that it's always the ones that protest the hardest.
It's always the ones that protest the hardest.
So like when you have like somebody that's like, oh, I hate those fucking fags, and they protest that they're not gay, they're always the ones that are the closet, and it's always the ones like Anthony Bourdain's girlfriend that protests against fucking sexual assault so hard. Meanwhile, she was the one that was abusing a 14-year-old boy. You know what I mean? Like, it's always the ones that protest the hardest that are the ones that are perpetrating.
It's always the ones that protest the hardest, are the ones that are well, I think it's a different phenomenon with the whole anti-gay thing, because that's a literal, like, it's a misdirection. You're trying to cloak yourself in.
So he wouldn't be trying to do a misdirection.
No, he would be trying to do a misdirection, but I mean it's different than once you're accused. So here's the thing, Dave. You're innocent and you're being brought before. And
but I also gave you an example. I gave you an example of a sexual abuser that was doing it too. So.
What do you mean you gave me an example of a sexual abuser that was doing it too? What do you mean?
Okay, so Anthony Bourdain's girlfriend, who was like Asia Argentina, who was like going after fucking Harvey Weinstein and was like one of the poster childs for the U2 movement or Me Too movement.
Okay, so
she turned out to be abusing a 14-year-old boy.
Okay, so that doesn't mean that everyone.
No, it doesn't mean mean
that people or even a lot of the people involved are hiding something. And B, that has it's not like he was part of the Me Too movement or anything like that. So
in my experience, for me, the ones that protest the hardest are the ones that have something to hide.
Like once after they have been accused of something or before they have been, because I feel like you're. Okay, because I feel like you're talking about two different phenomena.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay,
I agree with the before and after. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, fair. You know, I suppose that's a fair assessment. You know,
like three people though. That's all I'm gonna say. There's three. I need to hear the other. Where are the other two at?
I don't know. I literally know nothing about the other two. From my understanding, there's two people, but they're anonymous.
Okay, hang on. I was looking at the girl to his far left. That is Alyssa Milano.
Right there? Yeah.
If it's not, she got a facelift to look like her.
Yeah, is that her?
And she is fucking throwing daggers his way.
Oh, yes. Yeah, she has been the whole time. And texting on her phone.
Okay.
The whole time. Like,
see the woman with the longer earrings there?
Yeah, you thought
that's her.
No,
that's why I thought you were.
No. This
back
one
there.
here.
Yeah.
Alyssa Milano.
Yeah.
Yeah. That or Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks with bitch face on.
And a whole lot of makeup.
And a
She's
whole
not
lot of-
that. She's not that good looking. Just so you know.
Fair enough. Similar nose job though.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
Yeah, I
what's the
don't-
blonde girl off to the left there? Is that what's her name there? The
over here.
what's that right wing woman's name? Like the crazy one that's always on Bill Maher.
Yeah, the one that was really into Trump and the wall and
Yeah.
See, this is the whole thing with the political leaders earlier. Like, I know exactly who you're talking about, but producing the name on cue is not so easy.
Everybody accused her of being a man.
Who, Michelle Obama?
No, not Michelle Obama. How'd she have kids? Michelle Obama's not a man. How'd she have kids?
They're adopted, Dave. Come on.
Oh, give it a rest.
No, look,
That would have come out. That would have come out.
That
That
is
would have
my
come out.
that is my favorite. My favorite.
That's not even
conspiracy
close to
theory.
my favorite
It's
conspiracy
my
theory. My favorite conspiracy theory,
It's
and
Castro
it's not
and Trudeau.
Trudeau, and it's not even really conspiracy theory because it's true. You look at his ugly ass old man, and then you look at a young handsome Castro.
The times
and-
don't
and-
match up. The visits don't. Match
I don't
up.
want to hear that shit.
I know you don't want to hear it. No,
Maybe he
no.
came here. Maybe Castro came here.
And you just don't want to hear. You just don't want to hear about Michelle Obama's big dong.
I don't. You're right.
There's
right,
so many YouTube videos on it, Dave. There's so many YouTube videos on Michelle Obama's dong. Her dancing and wind blowing against her dress. Look,
I saw it.
look. Maybe she's got a colostomy bag, or maybe she runs around with like a strap on, and that's like their kink. You know, but
Maybe
then-
she's got a really big clit.
Look, maybe she has a giant unshaved bush. That's like, you know, I don't know. Maybe she shaves it in the shape of a penis. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's so funny to me. Oh, like her getting off plane and there's a stiff breeze in the front. Ah, big old
Okay.
dong.
The thing with this is when they said that the investigation has to be wrapped up by October 5th, I don't necessarily like that.
That is once again 1,000% politically motivated because they're
Yeah.
trying to make sure that it's done. But if it's a stall tactic, like we'll look into it, but we're not going to let you stall us past midterms.
Mhm.
And we're not going to let you make this a midterm issue. So that's just a political move again. I don't like it either, but I don't like it. I don't like a fucking thing about this, man.
Yeah.
30 fucking
But
5-year-old
do you
allegation.
but do you like a really conservative guy like that getting into the Supreme Court? Isn't your Supreme Court like all really conservative people now?
No. Well,
Mostly.
the guy that he's replacing is a Reagan appointee. So
Okay.
let's not act like he's a progressive.
Yeah.
You know, and before it was Scalia that died. So this is two conservatives that have been replaced by conservatives. So this isn't like, don't get me wrong, the Reagan appointee was kind of a middle of the road guy. But then again, this guy's voting record is very similar to Garland's, which is who Obama put up. So this guy isn't that crazy far right wing.
Okay.
I 0% believe that this appointment is going to affect like Roe versus Wade or Brown versus education or anything like that.
Okay.
And frankly, I'm more comfortable with the conservative Supreme Court than I am with the ultra liberal Supreme Court because of the nature of what the Supreme Court does. I would rather them sit there and say that we're not going to make any sweeping decisions than to make sweeping decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Things are pretty stable with the interpretation of the Constitution we have right now. The nature of conservative is to not change things. The nature of liberal is to change things, and that branch of the government, I would rather have a conservative leaning than a liberal leaning. I would rather have it balanced.
But we've seen them do some real fucky things.
Like what?
Sentencing people. Like I don't know if it was like if it's Supreme Court, but like using religion in sentences.
Using religion.
Yeah, so here, let me give you an example.
Okay.
Forcing a guy to get married.
Forcing a guy to the Supreme Court?
An American court did.
Now,
Here,
okay. Do you know what the Supreme Court is?
I do know what the Supreme Court is.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was the Supreme Court. I'm going to Google it because I don't want to be caught with my pants down on that. But
So
just give me a second.
Okay. That's the Supreme Court's job is to interpret the Constitution.
Yes, I understand that.
I don't know how. I mean, don't get me wrong. Shit might have happened.
Judge. Okay, so here we go. Just give me a minute.
Yeah. So most of just to fill airtime, right? While you Google, most of the Supreme Court decisions that people complain about fell on the liberal side. In fact, every one of them, when they say that it was like a massive reinterpretation, like Brown versus. And don't get me wrong, it's decisions that I may agree with, and I largely do agree with, right? Brown versus Board of Education, desegregated schools, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a liberal move. Gay marriage was legalized through the Supreme Court with the reinterpretation of the Constitution. Abortion, Roe versus Wade, was legalized nationwide by the Supreme Court. So I think the only time people really get upset about a time the Supreme Court went on the conservative side is I forget the guy's name, versus DC, when it's where the Second Amendment was reinterpreted to give more gun rights. So that's my point. With if I had to pick between the Supreme Court being leaning to the left or leaning to the right, I'd rather them lean to the right because they take action less often from the right. And I don't want a Supreme Court that takes a lot of action.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, go on.
A Texas man who pleaded guilty to, obviously it's not Supreme Court. A Texas man who pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault charge of punching his girlfriend's ex, was, meaning he punched a guy, was given a choice between marrying her or going to jail for the crime. Justin Bundy, 21, pleaded guilty on July 2nd to assault with bodily harm stemming from a brawl he had with the former boyfriend of Elizabeth Janes back in February. Smith County Judge Randall Rogers then gave him a choice between 2 years of probation or 15 days in jail. According to Janes 19, the probation terms included requiring Bundy to write a Bible verse 25 times a day. If a man digs a pit, he will fall into it. Proverbs, blah, blah, blah. And getting married within 30 days.
So I want to avoid everything that bothered me about that, and I want to throw out a hypothetical, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Say you're that young lady.
Okay.
And the judge floats that out.
I'm going to be like, I don't want to marry that fool.
One is, I don't want to marry that fool. Two is, what if the guy goes, I'll take the time.
Yes.
Like, that would crush you as a person.
It's only 15 days, too. So it'd be like
dude, look,
I'll take the 15 days.
Every woman that I've ever been with, I would take the 15 days. That's why I've never been married.
Yes.
15 days over a
marriage. How does any court get away with that?
How does any court get away with that? Look,
like any court at all ever in the history of court.
I agree with you. That is a load of horse shit. I actually believe I heard this story back when I listened to like the Scathing Atheist.
Mm-hmm.
That's some shit they would cover just for the Christian name.
It's writing the Bible verse 25 times a day that's like the worst part of it.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. And here's the thing: men dig a lot of pits that they don't fall in.
Sure.
How many times have you dug a hole and didn't fall in, Dave? I would say most of the holes you've dug.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So Kavanaugh, you're saying he's guilty.
I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm saying I lean towards him being guilty.
You lean towards him being guilty.
But just because I get the from I'm using my senses to interpret what's going on here. That doesn't mean I'm right by any means whatsoever. And I would never, ever, ever want a decision made based on an assumption I'm making off of a few videos that I've watched and the reactions of people around me.
No kidding.
Because I get a lot of shit wrong, man. Like I watch, so like my wife is like really into those true crime shows, and it comes on and it shows a few things, and I'm like, she did it. By the end of the show, it was some fucking hobo.
Right.
you know what I mean?
You're wrong all the time, is what you're saying. Yeah, you're not.
I can be wrong. Yeah.
So-
Everybody can be. The show is everyone's wrong, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're not House. Okay, good to
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
But
Matlock,
what I am saying is like statistically, it's more likely that she's not lying. And the other thing is like there's three of them. I want to wait till I hear the other two, but when you start getting numbers, that's when you're like, okay, some shits. You know what I mean?
Before I heard about the other two, I was really on the side of it's probably politically motivated. But now I'm
Really? So you're like conspiracy guy?
Look, I'm not. Look, how many times do I explain this? It's not a conspiracy for the Democratic Party to want to slow down the nomination so that they get to put in somebody that they want. Okay.
Sure, but do you think they orchestrated her coming in or her anonymously?
No.
Okay,
No.
that's what I want to clarify.
I don't think that this is
Okay.
all some plan. I think I think that a lot of people are really nervous, man. It's like I said, on the side of no more than you would say, like right now, yes, he did it. Would I say like, oh, this is some conspiracy theory? I would just say that I was more okay. Let me explain it this way. I was more doubtful because of the weight of the situation. Okay. If it was some random celebrity, okay, and once again, like, well, I don't think it's quite fair with Justin Trudeau. If it meant that Justin Trudeau was no longer going to be prime minister because of the accusations, I would have been like, well, hold on, because this is one person coming forward, and their word is having a great deal of political power.
Sure.
So it just makes me question motivations more.
With that, I wanted it investigated, and it never got investigated.
Right, and we're getting this investigated, and I'm really happy with that.
Yeah.
No, it's not that at any time I've thought that like, oh, this is definitely some political hatchet job. It's that it's just fishy, and there's a lot going on here. It's not like it's Johnny Depp, you know, to where like you know who really cares. Like it's not like it changes nothing if he never makes another movie, right? But it changes a lot as to who gets this position. So that's all I'm saying is the whole time that's been in the back of my mind that it's in the realm of possibilities.
Yes.
Particularly if people think they're in a life and death struggle, they would do crazy things, you know.
Michael Moore thinks that this is the last president of the United States of America.
Right. A lot of people think shit like that, man. And okay, and consider that in pre-Vietnam, before war broke out, there were monks lighting themselves on fire, sitting down, lighting themselves on fire, and just burning to death. All right, that's the type of action people will take when they feel like they're in a life and death struggle for their nation. So it makes it less crazy that there would be a conspiracy. It makes it less crazy that someone would be willing to sacrifice their reputation in order to stop some sort of horrific political change. You know, there are people that literally that think the abortion debate is how about this? Everyone that is really into the abortion debate think it's a life and death fight. And
yes,
and they think it's online right now on both sides.
Yes,
That's why everyone is so invested in this. To me, that's all. That's my point, man. Is they're so much invested in this that you really have to double question any accusations.
My point is, why is it on my radio in Canada?
Because
give a fuck.
Because it's soap opera-esque.
Yeah, it's like, it's very sensational. But I would like to say this. Something far more dramatic happened today.
What's that?
We just passed a deadline.
For trade?
The ultimate there was 3 deadlines. The ultimate deadline was today. It's supposed to be the ultimate. We went through the ultimate deadline. Nothing has been said.
But what about the ultimate deadline?
I don't know. You can't really put a deadline on negotiations. Can't be like, we're going to negotiate this, but it needs to be done in 2 days. It's not really negotiating.
That's true. And like what?
But you can't also negotiate forever, right? Like there needs to be some balance to that.
Yeah, and what Trump said is they're just slapped on the cars, and that'd be the mother load of all.
But he can't because half of one car is made here and the other half is made there. It's not as simple as just the car. Like the cars built in Canada have American built parts in them.
Right.
So you can't just do that. It doesn't even make any sense. It'll crash both of our economies. Like literally.
Let's do it.
Well, if you're Trump, I guess you want to. Fucking crazy. Balls out on the desk, those old ass balls. He just slaps them out there. It's like fucking. I don't know if you saw the thing where Justin Trudeau walked up to him at the UN. Did you see that? And he tries to talk to Trump, and Trump basically just slumps his old ass balls on the table. So Trudeau walks up to him, and Trump's going over his fucking speech that gets him laughed at.
Yeah.
Tremendously laughed at because that was hilarious. Like he's done more than any other administration. You realize that there was 2 administrations that went through world wars, right, sir? You realize that, right, sir? Like fucking world wars, right?
Yeah.
Right, and one of them a Korean war. Okay, anyways, so he's going through his fucking speech. And Trudeau walks up and taps him on the shoulder, and he looks up at Trudeau, and Trudeau puts out his hand, and Trump reluctantly goes like this, and then just goes right back down, like doesn't stand up. Normally when world leaders greet each other, they stand up. There's a cordial fucking like da da da, suck each other's dick, blah blah blah. Your country's so great. Your country's so great. Hand jobs here, hand jobs there. But basically, Trump just slapped his balls on the table.
That's why we like him, though, dude. Like that is.
But it's because they don't like each other. And the thing that like Trudeau shows himself in that instance to be a weasel, because he has said so many negative things about Trump and his tactics that he can't go up and try to shake his hand.
Right. So once again, that's like, okay, that's one of the things I like about Trump. Mm-hmm. Is that exact thing. Like he's not being like sneezy and snaky and sleazy and
Okay, but he does lie about people when
yes,
when they're not
he-
around.
he
So
absolutely
that
does.
is
But that, like, I'm not going to pay attention to you. That, like, I have more important things to do than you. That old man balls on the table, as you put it.
yeah.
That is what I like of it. Look, I'm not saying I'm not saying I want that as a president necessarily. Although sometimes I enjoy it, if not just for the amusement value, Dave.
Okay,
It's-
but here's the thing: if you have a leader of a country,
Yes.
would you rather him put his old man balls on the table to the dictators of the world or to your neighbor? Or would you rather him bend over, present his fucking old man pussy to the dictators, and then when it's your fucking best friend, he shows him his balls?
You make peace with your enemies, not with your friends. To quote George R.R. Martin. That's what's the older Lannister's name?
The Tywin.
Yeah, Tywin. That's Tywin Lannister right there. We make peace with their enemies, not with their friends. No, look. I definitely want to get a deal together with you guys, but I definitely, come on, dude. I enjoy him shitting on Trudeau because Trudeau is such an unlikable person.
I agree.
He's such an unlikable person, right?
So is Trump, though. So is Trump. Trump.
Yeah, but I also find Trump to be likable in some ways.
Oh, I do not.
I find Trump to be likable in a mischievous, kind of impish way.
So it's like bring out the GIMP.
No, imp, not gimp. But that's a
Okay,
different
I
thing.
thought you said GIMP. I
No,
thought you said
impish
Okay.
way.
Okay.
Like troublemaker. Like
Yeah, I get it. Like Loki.
Yes. He's it's tongue to cheek quite often, kind of mischievous.
Sure.
He's a cheeky bastard would be, I think, a British way of saying it.
I would prefer that when he insults Justin or he goes after Justin, that he says Justin instead of Canada.
I know he did say, like when I heard him talking about we'll just slap the tariffs on Canada. He said, and by the way, I love the Canadian people. I love Canada, but this administration, these tariffs.
But
He has also said,
it's
I know.
hollow. It
Yes.
rings hollow when
Yes.
he says Canada has been treating us poorly. No, Canada hasn't been, and it makes Justin Trudeau very popular when he says that, right? Because then Justin's like, man, the tyrant, and,
Yeah, and then his fucking ratings go up. Well,
and his ratings go up.
Well, here's the thing: when Trump says shitty things about Trudeau, his fucking ratings go up because
Sure.
our right wing really fucking hates Trudeau, just like you're
Like
everybody.
everybody hates Trudeau except for the left. Like all the right wing people around the world hate Trudeau.
And even left wing people in non-European countries don't like him. Like India doesn't like him, China doesn't like him. Like
Of course.
China's as left as they come. We've been on this for a while, man. You want to wrap this up?
Wrap it up then.
All right. Bye.
Bye. We'll be back next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. No.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. With all no watchers.
Don't sue us. They won't sue us because there's nobody watching.
Yeah. For what? To us for what? What have we encouraged on?
Same bad time, same bad channel.
What is that? Is that from something?
The Adam West Batman TV show. That's how they ended it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was always same bad time, same bad channel.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. I used to watch you talking about the old like comedic Batman. Yeah, I used to watch that when I was, but I'm talking about
The
real.
Pal.
Yeah,
Pal.
yeah. When I was
Poof.
real young.
Yeah. So when it ended, they would say, Same bad time.
Yes,
Same
yes,
bad time.
yes.
Because it always left on like a cliffhanger, that show. It was, they didn't just end the story or end the show. It was always like, the dynamic duo is in deep trouble, and they'd be like chained up over some lava with some like really cheesy bad guys in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna hang Batman upside down. Joker
Yes.
is, and he's gonna
Yeah.
have Piranha eat him. But you see, the Piranha frowns look like smiles when you're upside
Yes.
down. So that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
gimmick. We're gonna, that's cute. All right, man.
And the bad guys always told you exactly what they were
what they're
going
gonna
to
do, and then they left so that he could escape.
Yes.
Because which is older? These old Batman things are much older than Bond, right? So Bond ripped off probably the old comic book.
No, like the first. Oh yeah, the Batman comics are older than Bond for sure.
Exactly. So who ripped off who with the formula there? You know, they got.
But the granddaddy is Superman.
The granddaddy is Superman. Superman was fighting Nazis.
Captain America was fighting Nazis.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Superman's is like World War I shit.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Fighting the Huns.
Yes. Yeah. Superman was developed by two Canadians. I know, like, people are like, it's awfully American, but it's a Canadian thing.
Yeah.
And Jewish too.
Well, Jews write everything, so.
Well, they own Hollywood, don't they? And American banks.
I don't know what you're saying here, Dave.
And Israel.
Getting a bad connection here. I can't quite understand what you're saying. We're not.
I want you to explain something to me.
Yeah, go on.
When somebody calls somebody a Zionist, what do they mean?
A Zionist. They believe in the state of Israel that belongs to the Jews. I'm pretty sure that's what it means.
Is that what it means?
There's more to that. There's more to it. Let me because there's also a religious like there are Zionists that want to bring the end of the world about by creating Israel as a state, though, because it's supposed to. It's a support of Zionism, a person who believes in the development and protection of a Jewish nation and what is now Israel. Yeah. And
so why how is that a big why do people think that's an insult?
To be a Zionist, okay. Because it's tied in with like anti-Semitic rhetoric a lot of the time. That it's tied into conspiracy theories, like, and once again, like there are like doomsday Zionists that I think give it a bad name too. There are people that believe that there should be an Israel because it's important in prophecy and Revelations.
Okay,
so that's one. And,
right.
and a lot of people that are anti-Zionist are like right-wing anti-Semitic,
like the skinhead type. Like Nazis, like real Nazis.
Yeah. So I don't like who do you know is using Zionist as like an insult?
Well, I always see that online. It's like fucking Zionist this, Zionist that, and I'm like,
that's pretty much saying the Jews and their cohorts. Just so you know.
Well, I support Israel, so I guess I'm a Zionist.
Yeah.
But I support Israel in a different way, being that it's the only democracy amongst a bunch of fucking theocratic thugs, and they've held their own in every single war against them.
Their women are really hot. That's why I support them.
That is true, but that's because their women are European.
Fair enough. And there's like they have mandatory time in the military. So you get these really young, fit women coming out. Oh my god. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Okay.
All right.
Shut her down.
All right. Let's.
You know what? I just tried to close that page.
That's.